Toronto Raptors lose their third straight game, and all the hype and everything we were thinking after that glorious game one win is out the window. It's a distant, faded memory. Everyone sucks. Everyone needs to be traded right now. And there were some positive signs tonight, namely the horrific rookie debut of Colin Murray Boyles against the Dallas Mavericks did not bleed over on the back to back. He actually was the Raptors' best player tonight. He was incredible. He guarded Wembanyama. I said it in the early in the earlier live that I thought Scotty and CMB might actually have a surprising amount of success against Victor Wembanyama, and they did, right? And um, correct. So this live was initially scheduled for 10:40, 10:30. He was pushed to 11, then pushed to 11:30, then pushed to 12, then pushed to 12:30, then pushed to 1:15. And I said, at this point, I just can't do this anymore. This is a 5-hour baseball game that has been going on forever. And honestly, I could have done this live a lot sooner. And had I known that this would go 14 frigging innings, bottom of the 14th, as Jack says, I mean, this is basically a watch along. I hope we're live for when the Jays win this game, but honestly, at this point, it's just exhausting to watch. My girlfriend is watching it in the other room. She's super into it, and she's just like, "Put me out of my misery. I don't care who wins. Just end this game." Um, if you feel that way, just imagine how the players feel. Now, I'm kind of happy this live is happening a little bit later because I think Scotty had an abysmal game, and part of it is on him. Part of it is on the lineups. I do not understand why he is always on the floor with Emmanuel quickly, but it is bad. Jakob Pertl had another bad game. He ended up leaving the game in the second half with his bad back. I do not expect to see him in the lineup probably for the next week. Back issues are not something to play around with. If the Raptors pushed him to play through this, it is a mistake. Now, I understand you don't have a lot of center depth. You don't have another 7-footer on the roster, but you were much better with Sandro Mamukelashvili. You're better with Scottie Barnes. You're better with, CMB playing those center minutes. Frankly, if Draymond can play center, CMB can play center, Scottie can play center, right? You can't have these types of games. And the Raptors came out flat, and Grady did get benched in the second half. We'll take a look at the film breakdown. We'll certainly look at what happened in this game. Let's take a look right now. This is not a good game. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't like to say this because I really went at another podcaster in Scotty's second year when he said Scotty quit on his team. Scottie Barnes is doing cardio out there. Okay. Y'all, want me to keep it real? I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to talk to you later on about Scottie Barnes. And I'm going to talk to you about what I love about him and why I think these moments that he has, and he has them like every year, where there's like one or two games where he gets really emotional and really frustrated with something that happens. And then he is just, you can't communicate with him for like the next 45 minutes. Like it could be a missed call, a dirty play. It could be a teammate just missing him repeatedly, repeatedly, repeatedly. Nice win. Are you crazy? Sorry, man. You're a community member, but are you insane? Scotty has never been jealous of a teammate ever. That is never going to happen. No, not jealous of a teammate. Come on, man. Jeez. No, no, no. That is crazy. Armin saying, I have an unpopular take. Darko will get fired within the next 10 games. Well, there's no consistency to the lineups. And I do not blame Darko Rajaković for having a starting lineup that does not make sense. I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to know that if you want to play pressure defense and you've made it clear to your ownership and to your management that you want to play this way, and they're drafting Colin Murray Boyles because you want to play this way, and you're drafting Elijah Martin because you want to play this way, and you want to build around Scottie Barnes, then I have questions about what your roster is right now, because honestly, playing this way is not easy. Okay. You can't just have everybody pressuring the basketball 35, 40 feet because it is ridiculous. There are certain players on this team that can play this way. Jonathan Mobo can play this way. Colin Murray-Boyles can play this way. Scottie can play this way. Ochai can sometimes play this way. Jacoby can definitely play this way. Shed can play this way. Mamu can play this way. Everybody else can't. You are going to break Brandon Ingram in half. Okay. This is already a dude with injury issues. I do not want Brandon Ingram having this type of aggressive load defensively. It is really difficult. And trust me, I had a coach who made us who wanted us to guard this way. This ain't for the faint of heart, bro. I had to do like a half a year worth of like extra work to get in shape to play that way. Now, if this is Darko's way of throwing, games until his team gets the message that we're going to guard this way, I mean, I'm sorry. I don't think RJ Barrett is ever going to be able to guard this way. I don't think Grady Dick is ever going to be able to guard this way. I just think it is defense is instinctive. Okay. It's read and react. There's a lot of things that happen in the mind of an athlete. And when your eyes dart, like there was a play where Scottie hit a couple threes, I believe, in this game, right? He hit a couple threes. Let's take a look real quick at the box score. So Scottie Barnes, shutouts, triple single, bro, 3 rebounds in 30 minutes, 4 personal fouls, 2 turnovers, 8 points. Bad. Okay. Jakob Poeltl, 1 for 6, just missing bunnies at the rim. Also really bad. 2 points, 2 rebounds in 24 minutes. Your entire starting lineup, nobody cracked 4 rebounds. Your entire team, nobody cracked 4 rebounds. What is this? The Spurs didn't shoot 100%. Have you ever seen a team where nobody cracked 4 rebounds? I thought this was a typo. You got out rebounded 44-20. Okay. 44-20. They had 7 offensive rebounds. It's just madness. And I guess there weren't a lot of rebounds to collect because they shot 58% from the field and they got to the line 36 times. And you got to the line 23 times. They were the more aggressive team. They were the more disciplined team. And oh, by the way, they're the younger team. Okay. I mean, come on, man. Like, this is no offense. Like, that's completely useless. Bobby Feltington. Just being honest, Scottie will never get better at shooting. Shooting is a focus thing, and you can see he's just tossing it up. There was a shot. So Scottie shot 2 for 4 from 3. I don't know if you're a mathematician, but he's shooting about 54, 50, 53, 54% from 3 on the season, which is great. Like, that's what you want to see. You want to see him get above 35%, and 54% is above 35%. So last year he shot 27%. He will never get better at shooting people. He's gotten better. Like, he has gotten better. He has gotten better at shooting. He's gotten better at mid-range shooting. He's gotten better at shot creation. He is a better shooter. So ESPN is at KD. Perfect. Thank you so much. 53.8 from 3 right now. So, I mean, come on, right? Language. Trade Scottie from my team now. For real? You just forgot the last game? So here's the thing. Here's what happened. Okay. Yeah, like, no offense, man. Get laid. Banned. Peace. We don't need that. We don't need that energy. We just don't. Like, fuck out of here, man. It's like 1:27 a.m. Bro. Jeez. 1:27 a.m. Anyways, I think this game comes down to really aggressive defensive. But like, I think I said it. If I didn't say it, I apologize for not saying it. The way we play defense is extremely easy to dissect if a team is just patient, because there are so many weaknesses and there's no backline help. Now, when Scottie isn't dialed in, and I don't think Scottie was dialed in defensively today, it was really CMB who turned this game around. But if Scottie is not dialed in defensively, this entire thing falls apart. Now, I think Scottie's frustration stems from the offensive end, kind of getting frozen out of the offense on a team that is his team. He's the highest paid player. He's the last guy introduced. He just put up 33 points in the last game. You don't get to freeze out Scottie Barnes. Like, if you're Emmanuel Quickly, go fuck yourself. You do not get to freeze out your star player, okay? Just because you want to pass to RJ Barrett every single time. I promise you, if Ochai is open and RJ is open left and right, Emmanuel quickly will always pass to RJ Barrett. It is like they are 100% of the time. You can do the analytics search on it, the tracking data. I will tell you the most frequent passes that he will always make is to RJ Barrett. Now, RJ Barrett has been great to start the season, and he was the leading shot taker for the Raptors tonight. And I just don't think that it was great offense for the most part, like for the Raptors. This loss is not on RJ Barrett. This loss is not on Brandon Ingram. I would say if you want to put this loss on somebody, it's probably on Scottie Barnes and Jakob Poeltl and Emmanuel quickly for his game management. But overall, you can throw the hammer at Grady Dick's abysmal 8 minutes. We finally got Jacoby Walter. Finally got Jacoby Walter into the game. He got 2 stints. He was +5 in the game. Ochai Agbaji, 12 minutes. He was +5. Every single starter was negative, with Scottie being the least negative. Okay. In his 30 minutes in a game where you were routinely down by 20, Scottie Barnes was -8. And it's, by the way, kind of interesting that it was the guy who stepped in for him, Colin Murray-Boyles, who everyone is talking about. He was -17 in his 24 minutes, and he often replaced Scottie. So Colin Murray-Boyles was great for your defense, like absolutely phenomenal in terms of making individual plays. But very often it didn't result in the team being successful in those 24 minutes. Now he did happen to hit 3 out of 5 threes. Now what do you want to say about that? In back-to-back games, you've had Colin Murray-Boyles and Scottie Barnes lead you in three-pointers made. Come on now, right? ESPN Encyclopedia. I've noticed it before, and really my biggest issue with Scottie Barnes. While he's incredible defender, he picks up the intensity depending on his engagement on O. Should be the opposite. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that. But if he gets emotional about what's been going on offense, and he has every right, like in my opinion, if you're gonna throw a fit, right, you need to do it in a healthier way, in my opinion. He's just jogging. Like I was watching him the entire time. He was jogging from baseline to baseline, and then he went from corner to corner, and he was just away from the play. Now, to those people who were very big proponents of Brandon Ingram got frozen out of the offense in the 2 games ago in the fourth quarter, BI was doing something very similar. People just don't want to talk about it, but the floating is real. So when you decide to just not involve your yourself in the play, there was an entire play where Scottie Barnes was about 42 to 43 feet from the basket, and he was just floating. And then he got the ball, and then he got engaged, and then he got off of it very quickly, and then just kind of stood around for a bit. He was conserving a lot of energy. It could be dead legs. He played a lot. Like he played very intensely yesterday. He obviously carried a really big load defensively and offensively, and he can burn himself out. I do see a vision. I do see a vision for him and Colin Murray-Boyles starting together, especially if CMB is going to hit threes at a decent clip. I mean, he's not a non-shooter. I'm looking at that jump shot for him, and as a jump shooter, I can tell you that shot looks smooth. And he doesn't look like a great shooter, but he looks like a guy who's going to comfortably shoot like 30% for the rest of his career or above. So if you can just get a guy who's willing to get out of the way, if this CMB Mamu thing can work, I really do see a vision for Scottie starting with CMB. And now you don't have to tire Scottie out defensively, and he can be more of a roamer like he was with OG Anunoby, where OG Anunoby can do a lot of the pressure stuff, or Scottie can do the pressure stuff. You can take the turns. It is really demoralizing to play reckless balls to the wall defense and then just have no help behind you. It's so demoralizing to do the right thing and have teammates to do the wrong thing every single time. But as a leader of the team, you need to find a way to communicate that better than just quitting on your teammates, because that's the type of shit that really erodes team culture. Now you can say maybe RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly are so ass on defense that they had it coming. Maybe Scottie is frustrated with the fact that Jakob Poeltl can't catch a fucking pass and he keeps getting turnovers. Maybe he is frustrated with how he's being used on offense because he knows better. I think the crazy thing about genius and the crazy thing about basketball IQ and having high basketball IQ, and the most frustrating thing, I think, for most people who have high intelligence is watching other people do the wrong thing, right? Like for me, one of the reasons that I don't want to work under other people is because sometimes I find myself in a situation where I can see that a plan is very badly executed, and then I become very disengaged. It's taken me 36 years to not be emotional about that. So I have a lot of empathy for anybody who has the right idea and gets frustrated when their teammates don't do that. But now I now communicate that a little bit better. I've found slightly better ways, right? Yeah, Chris Weberstan, you're a racist. We already talked about that. Country Kong saying RJ is not ass on defense. I really beg to differ. There are plenty of plays that we could look at that, he's abysmal. He also had a really great play where he doubled down and dug at the ball and forced a turnover. It's not like the Raptors defense can be summed up as chaos. Chaos without purpose. Okay. It is high pickup points. I mean, you have been a relatively decent offense. If you want to take one good away from this game and very many games, you had probably the most success against Victor Wembanyama, denying him possessions. Like he didn't just destroy you. 24 points and 15 rebounds is going to be an average game for him. I thought he was going to have 8 blocks against his team or 10 blocks against his team because of how much we over penetrate. But look, he only had one. This is weird to say. This might have been his worst game. You know what I mean? Uh, are the bases like starting to get loaded? Cool. We got two at base right now. Nice. Anyways, so yeah, so I just think this has been a really really poor process of defensive implementation. I think this team lacks structure, and I think right now that Darko is just looking for answers in anywhere he can find them. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Jacoby getting more minutes. I'm really hoping he gets more minutes. Is she saying he is the plus 35 for a reason? I 100% agree. Like the Raptors had a very very difficult time defensively and offensively, but also, like, um, uh, Matt Trap Beats saying, "Hey, Pan, hope your night is going great. Taking calls tonight." Yeah, absolutely. Towards the end, when we get when we get past the film session, let's take a look at the film breakdown really quickly. I mean, this game was depressing as hell. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like at some point, I just sort of disengaged, and I was just like, okay, we're playing like this tonight. Cool. Like at no point in everything that was happening did I feel like, oh yeah, we really have a great comeback in us. Like, yeah, there were positive moments. But yeah, this was bad all around. I mean, we closed the gap to 10. I mean, prior to the game, I almost got a little bit excited because I heard something, through the grapevine about the Raptors being really locked in before the game in the huddle and stuff. And I was like, oh man, this team is pissed right now. Don't say I didn't warn you. I was crying by the first quarter. Like it's demoralizing. Victor Wembanyama just got in these guys' heads, right? Uh, I said it would be strange to predict the Raptors win here, but I'm getting a feeling, and apparently that feeling was lunacy. Lunacy, because I knew from, like, 3 minutes into this game, I was like, "I'm wrong." There's just this team. I was like, "Maybe they'll come out and they'll take us, not super seriously," but Wemby had this team locked in. You wanna look at good RJ Barrett defense, here's good RJ Barrett, and this is what RJ Barrett needs to do. Here, the offensive player has his back turned to you, and here, boom, can't see, and RJ Barrett digs at the basketball, and Harrison Barnes tips it out of bounds, and the Raptors force a turnover. This was an intelligent dig. However, when this dig is coming towards a player who can see what you're doing and you do it in a controlled, haphazard way, well, then what you're going to do is you're going to leave a wide open shooter. That's going to force Scottie to scram out there. Then that's going to force, that player to drive past Scottie because he's closing out, with 20 feet of distance because RJ abandoned his assignment. And then that's going to result in a wide open dunk at the basket because Jakob Poeltl can't guard a corpse right now. So, offensively and defensively, the Raptors have been much better with Sandro Mamukelashvili, and I expect that to continue. And it's kind of crazy to say that Mamu, who isn't a rim protector, is just so mobile right now that he is able to participate and at the very least, keep his man in front of him a little bit better. He's able to contain the live dribble a little bit better. Yak is at this point looking like, with a bad back, Jakob Poeltl basically looks like Brook Lopez did last year at times. He If you told me this was a minimum salary player right now, I would believe you. Also, shout outs to Victor Wembanyama for doing this shit right past Jakob Poeltl and Scottie Barnes. And Scottie Barnes is just looking up like, okay, this is about to be a really friggin' long night. Okay. I said this unit, which shed Grady, Mamu, CMB, and BI, has been great. Again, I remain committed that the season will turn when you change that starting lineup. And I will share with you what that starting lineup that I really want is later. But here, look at Colin Murray Boyles, wide open. Nobody is within. Now, it's interesting. He got credited for a 3 on this one. Notice something interesting. Is he behind the line? Wow, he has small feet. Okay, he is able to get behind the line and then he gets right in front of the line. So that is a 3. Good job getting your feet behind the line. He has really small feet. Sorry, I'm just noticing this right now. Weird. Okay. I said, think about it. And this is the lineup that I was petitioning for: Scottie Barnes, Jacoby Walter, Brandon Ingram, Colin Murray Boyles, and Sandro Mamukelashvili. And we saw something close to this lineup. We saw Jacoby, Brandon, Sandro, Colin, but instead of Scottie Barnes at point, we saw Jamal Shed. And it looked decent at times, right? And I think we saw a variation of this lineup with Emmanuel quickly as well, but it was Scottie in place of Sandro. So it's interesting. I would try this out. This is honestly, like, I'm not the coach of the Raptors, obviously, but this is the lineup that I would 100% go to. Now, this is a very frustrating play. The Raptors are down 10. Now, Scottie is, in my opinion, your best transition passer. And this is where I think he really, really shines. Look at this beautiful no look that completely catches this. It freezes the Spurs and gets RJ wide open. You think this is about style or substance, but honestly, Emmanuel quickly would have looked at, Emmanuel quickly would have looked at Ochai Agbaji, and that pass would have been stripped. So here, Ochai Agbaji is very athletic. You just need to finish that. He smokes a wide open layup. This play, which followed a Sandro Mamukelashvili 3, which had maybe the Raptors feeling like, okay, we got off to a really, really bad start, but hey, we just hit a 3. We're feeling good about ourselves. It's 29-39. And what did I say in my live earlier? I think I said it either last night or I said it earlier. I said, the way Dylan Harper gets downhill, he is going to eviscerate Grady Dick if he tries to go for these steals. And like on point right there. Okay, to be clear, Dylan Harper doesn't need you to do this. He will do this. He will get to the rim regardless on Grady Dick. Grady Dick can gamble. He can dive into him head first. Dylan Harper is 100% going to get to the rim. And here, the threat of the pass and this elite footwork. I mean, do y'all realize how special Dylan Harper is going to be? The way this kid processes these offensive situations, his level of skill, and his ability to just, despite being not the most vertical athlete at the rim, his brain is just moving at a slower pace than most rookies. And I say, speaking of rookies whose brains are moving quite slow, look at how poised CMB is. He is really special on the defensive end. Like, he's giving me shades of young Ron Artest, young Draymond Green. It would not surprise me if in a couple of years he's your best defender. He's incredible on that end, right? Now here, look at how his hand-eye coordination is a superpower. He's so good at it. Watch again now. Watch this play here. I mean, again, the pressure from Ochai Agbaji is going to help here. And Champagny is just going to lose this. Look at that. Those are like magnet hands. He is so good at this. And I said, his name is Carter Bryant. Yo, of course, one of my favorite players in the league, getting his big block and also, giving him a little bit snarl. And then also, shout out to Steph Castle for finding Carter wide open for 3. Mamu, you can't leave a good shooter that open. But, shout outs to Carter. He's had a really, really rough start. Talking to his dad earlier today about it, and we're just kind of like breaking down his film and talking about, what he's doing. And right now the game is just moving really, really fast for Carter. When he slows down, you see the raw athleticism, and, he's a really high motor player. He's never a player you're going to ever have to convince to play hard. He plays too hard. And right now it's just like his brain is too fast, right? Whereas CMB right now, everything is moving in very slow motion, right? It's been great. Great to watch. Stolen ball. No disrespect to Scotty, but it just isn't working out. Like, you just don't understand basketball. And I'm sorry, like, I don't think you understand basketball very well. Trading Scotty Barnes is not going to help you. But I mean, sure. Honestly, at this point, for Scotty's sake, to get him away from the types of fans that just want to like disrespect the guy all day that can't see his game, yeah, sure. I hope he gets traded to a fan base that actually understands basketball. That would be great. But this community appreciates him. You obviously not from here. Never seen you before. And, it's just like you probably don't appreciate Picasso either, bro. Like it takes it, that old saying, it takes one to know one. At some point you actually have to understand basketball, like to actually. So you want to trade your best player because you want to compete? What are you hoping to get for him? Why don't you tell me what you actually want from him? Let's see how much ball you actually know. And please, Lord, don't tell me Jalen Green. Give me a trade package. Nah, don't call in. Please don't call in. I don't have patience for that shit tonight. So anyway, long story short, let's get to this play here. Boom. I love this cut by Brandon Ingram. As much as I'm very, very happy that Jacoby made this pass, this cut by Brandon Ingram shows shows initiative. Okay. Now, I say, tell me what's wrong with the sequence. This is the point at which Scottie Barnes just gave up on Emmanuel quickly. Watch this. Okay. Now, Scottie has a rookie. Brandon Ingram is trying to pass to Scottie Barnes. This will unlock Emmanuel quickly. Okay. But quickly has a better idea. He says, pass to RJ Barrett. So he basically blocks Scottie's passing lane to get his BFF the fucking basketball. Ingram, frustrated because he can't make this pass with Emmanuel quickly basically blocking Scottie Barnes, says, fuck it. I'm just going to go and pass to RJ Barrett. Jakob Poeltl, identifying the play, because Yak may be useless right now, but he's no dummy, decides to skip the pass over to RJ Barrett. You have Scottie Barnes on a rookie in the post, and you have a point guard who makes sure that pass does not get thrown. From this point on, I did not see an engaged Scottie Barnes. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm getting real sick of Emmanuel quickly. Now, I'm not trying to be, I have tried to support Emmanuel quickly. I have bit my tongue as long as I humanly possibly can. I know low basketball IQ when I see it. I know ego when I see it. This is ridiculous. Okay. I am sick of this shit. You don't see it. How are you free? One, when you have the basketball, you're fucking freezing the guy out. You're not passing him the ball in good places. You're throwing the ball at his fucking feet. You're consistently missing him on open cuts, open dives, open posts up. He runs the floor like a fucking motherfucker, and you just miss him every time as you just crawl the pace like an idiot. And then on top of everything, you're now in the way when someone else is trying to pass him the ball. Fuck it, man. I was just like, when I saw this play, I was like, bro, if I saw a rookie make this play, you're riding the pine for the rest of your fucking life, because you have to be so dumb to not see the two players who are trying to connect, and you're dragging your own guy in the way. Y'all understand? Like, if this dude gets traded, like, trust me, you will get better. Team chemistry will get better, a lot better. He is really suffocating the shit out of this defense right now. I don't know if he has an issue with Scottie. I really don't. I really don't know. And I have had an issue with Dennis Schroeder, Fred VanVleet. I desperately want to not have an issue with Emmanuel quickly. I have tried to support him. I made a fucking video essay saying that he was Steph Curry adjacent, that he works hard. I have tried to quote his glory to God and his faith-based messaging many, many times. I have, okay? I have tried my best. But this shit is unbearable. You are crawling, and he's a really talented player. I want to be clear about that. He's not a bum. He's whatever. But you're not a point guard. One, you're definitely not a star. Two, and you do not have the carte blanche to freeze out Scottie Barnes or Brandon Ingram. Those are all stars. You definitely don't have that. So Darko Rajaković, get your fucking point guard under control. It's really annoying. Like, when he got here, my first thought was, I'm happy he's happy, right? Because he seemed pretty upset about getting traded from New York. RJ was very happy to come to Toronto. Emmanuel quickly seemed a little bit guarded. He wanted to get paid. He didn't want to, he wanted to be in New York, but he wanted to get paid. He didn't understand the economics that they had already paid Jalen Brunson. They weren't going to pay him to. So he came here. We allowed him to run the offense and stat pad in April and May. And he put up huge numbers, and we paid him for it. We gave him an audition, and we basically doubled his contract value that the Knicks were willing to sign him for. Who the fuck were we competing with? Probably the Spurs, maybe the Orlando Magic. I have no idea what the competing offer was for him. But the point is, $32.5 million is basically shut the fuck up money, okay? Fred VanVleet got the money in Houston and immediately played ball. Because he was like, okay, if you give me the money, I promise to play ball. I'll do what you ask me to. Is Emmanuel quickly doing what you're asking him to? If he is, I have a real issue with who is asking him to do this. Who is asking him to think he's De'Aaron Fox? I wouldn't mind if De'Aaron Fox was doing this, because De'Aaron Fox is a star player. Okay, he may not be a superstar, but he is a hell of a lot better than Emmanuel Quickly. I wouldn't have a problem if Ja Morant was doing this. I mean, it'd be a little bit annoying, but I would at least understand you're fucking Ja Morant. But you're Emmanuel Quickly, and I understand that in this weird world that we live in, where everybody's social circle basically gasses them up like they're the man and everything, and he makes a lot of money, and he was at the podium when they announced the future is now, and RJ Barrett doesn't have an extension because he got an extension, and Ochai don't have an extension, and we're one of the most expensive teams in the league. But like, I'm gonna be honest, this guy's really trying to frustrate me. Like, I'm sorry to go off on him. I really didn't want to. I wanted to keep it like really above the belt. But this shit is ridiculous. This play, I was staring at it. I'm like, I can't believe what I'm watching here. Here, take notes, Emmanuel Quickly. This is what a point guard does. I mean, this is just, he sees the play the whole way through. His head is up. I mean, Jamal Shed doesn't have a quarter of the talent, but he has 10 times the feel. Splits the defender, perfectly natural. And here, Colin Murray-Boyles, do you see what happens when two players who actually know how to play basketball just get on the court? You need to minimize the number of people who don't understand what the fuck they're doing, okay? And it's very often Emmanuel Quickly, okay? Watch the next game. Now here, I love this. I said CMB going into the body of Wemby. I love this. Now, Wemby backed off of CMB, knowing the scouting report is that CMB is not a great shooter. And so CMB did the right thing. He didn't settle for a jump shot. I wish Scottie had done this when he was struggling in his second year. And I know that the Scottie CMB comparisons are going to be there. But you know what? As much as CMB can learn a lot from Scottie, I think Scottie can learn a little bit from his teammate tonight, which is, hey, don't follow bad games with bad games. Now, I don't expect Scottie Barnes to have a bad game against Houston, but for real, well, first of all, they got Kevin Durant. If a team has Kevin Durant, Scottie Barnes is going to be dialed up. But it shouldn't take, like, whatever is going on with this team, they need to have a kumbaya. They definitely need to have a conversation, and they need to get on the same page. I believe these are all genuinely good guys. I do. I believe there's miscommunications that are happening, and I believe that happens to be on the coaching staff and the leadership of this team. And unfortunately, Scottie Barnes, that's you. This ain't Fred's team anymore. This ain't Pascal's team anymore. This is on you. Okay? You got to figure this out. You got to have a conversation, tough conversation with Emmanuel Quickly, and say, this is where I want the ball. Next time I'm down there, don't fucking freeze me out, or we're going to have a problem. You're 6'9". Stand over him and say, it's my team. Give me the fucking ball. Don't be nice about it. Just tell him to give him the fucking ball. You don't think Michael Jordan had players on his team who didn't get him the ball where he wanted? You don't think Shea has had teammates that didn't get him the ball where he wanted? You don't think Luka and LeBron have had teammates that didn't get them the ball enough or looked them off? Do you remember that play where Jeremy Lin looked off Kobe Bryant and he took a shot and Kobe said, "Explain that play to me." Bro, Scottie, this is on you. If he's doing this to you, if he's in your way, don't fucking sulk about it. You gotta pound your chest, grab him in the timeout, and say, next time, don't do that shit. Now, I don't know why we keep getting fucking Napoleons on this team because, it would be really nice to have guys like Boris Diaw and Manu Ginobili who have no intention or no desire to do this to anybody. But the truth is, they don't do that to anybody because Tim Duncan is that guy. Greg Popovich is that no-nonsense guy. Somebody has to do it. It could be Garrett Temple, but I think Garrett's very nice. It could be Scottie Barnes, but Scottie's very nice. It could be Darko. Maybe Darko is being a little too nice. Darko, you need to have this conversation. You need to have a conversation. And obviously, I want to be clear. Emmanuel Quickley did not suffocate the offense the way he was in previous games. He did not take nearly as many shots as he has in previous games. And, he limited attempt. This is a good attempt for Emmanuel Quickley. Great attempt. Love this. Please do this 20 times a game. I have no problem. Carter Bryant, read the scouting report, young man. You cannot leave Emmanuel Quickley with this much space. CB, what are you doing? Just cost your team 3 points. Your analytics suck right now. Now, I said, and here's another positive Emmanuel Quickley play. I ripped him to shreds. Here's a good one. Okay, here. Scottie makes contact. Quickly. Now, again, this is a play that is quote unquote successful. Okay. And I want to be clear. No good point guard would run this play exactly this way. Look at the freeze, right? He grabs the ball and then throws it. Almost as if he's like, do you realize how much time elapses? You need to throw this with one hand. What kind of a point guard can't throw this? Like y'all watch other point guards, right? Y'all watch Jalen Brunson. Y'all watch De'Aaron Fox. Y'all watch other point guards. I'm not even saying those guys are like the best passers. Y'all watch Trae Young. Boom. This pass needs to be thrown right here. Right here. It's an easy fucking pass. Instead, you pick it up and it nearly gets tipped. And it's a much harder shot. What is that extra dribble? There's no reason for it. There's none. None. I mean, if this team can't see what Emmanuel Quickley is doing to this offense, like I mean, that was supposed to be a positive play, and even that is like relatively negative. Like, holy shit. Okay. A little bit of CMB. Look at this play. Victor Wembanyama. You have found your kryptonite, and that kryptonite is Lou Dort, Colin Murray-Boyles, and Scottie Barnes if he decides to show up in the next game against Wemby. This type of defender is very difficult for super tall defenders. And you're going to see Kevin Durant struggle against Scottie Barnes and Colin Murray-Boyles as well. These are just the types of defenders that give these guys a lot of trouble. Emmanuel Quickley getting early and efficient offense at the rim. Very good. And here, beautiful RJ Barrett pass to his old high school teammate. A little bit off target. Not going to complain about it. He finishes it. Again, with Wemby, nothing can be off target. So play execution has been pretty abysmal. And for every one of these passes that actually gets through, one of them actually falls apart. So here, Brandon Ingram, not doing too much. Love it, right? Love that Brandon Ingram is able to, I mean, honestly, I would rather he get a little bit deeper and not pick up his dribble. Look at Scottie battling in the post there for offensive position, getting held by Keldon Johnson. Look at Keldon Johnson fouling Scottie Barnes. Do y'all see this? How are the referees not calling this? Look at Scottie. Y'all see this, right? Keldon is fucking... That's an all-star. and he's getting mauled. You could never do this to Wemby. They did this to him all game. And Scottie was complaining about it to the refs. And you know what? It's been a very frustrating 2 games. This dude hates losing. I'm telling you, nobody on this team is taking losses more personally right now than Scottie Barnes. But also, you have a disproportionate amount of control to control those losses, right? It's not like you can't just get into a huddle and say, "Coach, draw the next play up for me." But that's not your personality. And what I will say to Scottie Barnes, I don't know, some of your friends actually do listen to this podcast. So clip this one and send it to Scottie if you care about Scottie. Here's what I'll say. If you care about your team, be more selfish. That's what I'll say. If you actually care about this team winning and losing, take control of your fucking locker room. Don't allow the Dennis Schroeders and the Fred VanVleets and the Emmanuel Quickleys to take over. I promise you. Mars Talk Sports, I got you. I'll send it to him. Well, I certainly was not referring to you, my friend. But there are a couple people for sure that I do know that watch this that are pretty close with Scottie. Watch us that are, I see them watching our stories. They've reached out before, so But if you're gonna allow other people, like, I think leadership is always a matter of a vacuum, right? Like, if you don't take it, somebody will. In every situation, there's going to be a leader, or there's one is either going to be appointed or one is going to basically come up by default. Raps 6 saying Mars enjoying our suffering. A little bit of Schadenfreude there, Mars. I don't know. Anyways, Victor Wembanyama. Okay. Watch this play. Here, Jakob Poeltl. Why? On what planet do you think that you can guard Victor Wembanyama? Like, I understand the deterrence. I understand delaying offense. I understand high pickup points. But you're Jakob Poeltl, and that's Victor Wembanyama. You're going to get destroyed, okay? And here, what is this random-ass double by Scottie Barnes? Do you see what Wemby has done to this defense? Look at this overreactionary bunch of idiots. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, I don't even want to be rude about it, but like, what are y'all doing? This is not good defense. Emmanuel Quickly might be the only person who's actually in position right now. RJ is completely ball focused. Brandon Ingram has completely abandoned his man. And here, I mean, you could at least make a case that those guys have a justifiable reason to help Jakob Poeltl, or at least in position to help Jakob Poeltl. Here, they think they're just going to swarm Wembanyama and then he's not going to be able to see the shooter. But Wemby is not a moron. And here, Scottie Barnes realizes that there are 3 defenders, and here he's just playing. What are you doing, Emmanuel, quickly? Did Scottie Barnes tell him to get out of the way? Like, what the fuck is this? This happens so often. This play is the epitome of idiot, like lunacy. Are you kidding me? The first priority is to stop the ball. Scottie is not in a position to help recover here at all. Okay. Now I understand the need to get out to the shooter. I do get that. Okay. And I completely understand that you trust Jakob Poeltl to stop this guy, but Jakob Poeltl ain't stopped anybody at the rim all season, bro. He is getting 2 inches off the ground, and his rim deterrence numbers have been bad since San Antonio. Okay, the last year in San Antonio, he was a pretty reasonable rim protector, and I was already seeing the decline. When we traded for him, I told y'all immediately his rim protection numbers are nowhere close to what they were in 2019. We are 5-6 years removed from possibly like the prime of Jakob Poeltl defensively. Okay. So Tariq saying this version of Rob is gold. What version? Frustrated Raptor fan version? Stolen ball saying we need to. Why do you pick the dumbest thing to say and then just say that? First, we need to trade Scottie. We need to free Ingram. Can we free you? Free you from the shackles of your mind. My God. Free Ingram. You just paid him $40 fucking million a year. Nobody else was willing to give him that contract. Free him from what? Free him from what? Playing in a top 5 city in the United States? I'm sorry, in North America, I like Scotty, bro. He's a good player. I have no idea why you keep saying that, but he's been underwhelming, in my opinion. I hate the internet. Yo, I hate the internet because every fucking person's got an opinion. Okay, look, man, he has been arguably your best player so far on both ends. Okay. You can argue RJ Barrett is just hitting his shots at an unprecedented rate, but honestly, Scotty's been your best player. Prior to this game, he's been your best player. What is he underwhelming? He is the only player who's made an all-star team on your team in the last 3 years. What are you doing? We traded Yak for the Wemby pick. Well, yeah. Chill, bro stuff. Are you 12? Chill, bro stuff. You know what? You kind of grinding my gears a little bit. So we're just gonna be done with you, stolen ball. You have not said anything of actual merit, anything that would give me any semblance of faith that you have. Are we in the 16th fucking inning right now? Wow. We are in the 16th inning. So have Yak and IQ come off the bench, start CMB, Walter, and Mamu. Okay, so here's the thing. These are all good players. Emmanuel Quickly is a good player. Scottie Barnes is a good player. Brandon Ingram's a good player. RJ Barrett's a good player. Jakob Poeltl's a good player. Here's my note to you guys. None of these players are better than Manu Ginobili. Not one. Not one player on your team, the Toronto Raptors, is better than Manu Ginobili circa 2007 to 2011. That dude would be your best player right now. You didn't watch the Spurs. I did. They were one of my favorite teams. What I will say is that dude agreed to come off the bench. So just so happens that that dude also happened to be in attendance tonight. And what I'll say is if he is not too good to come off the bench, nobody on this team is too good to come off the bench. And what I will say also is the net rating of the starting lineup is abysmal, and anyone could have seen it from a mile away. Okay. It is bad. It is bad. And it was obviously bad. We got Coach Mo calling in. What up, Coach Mo?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can. What's up?
Bro, I'm not really too disappointed with the loss because I knew we were going to lose. But early in the game, do you remember when RJ got blocked and our bench was complaining he got fouled early?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when? Okay. It was a fast break. IQ had the ball 2-on-1, okay? Basic basketball play 2-on-1.
Mm-hmm.
IQ has a tendency to let go of the ball too early and
Or
then
too late.
or too late. He let the ball go too early. It should have been a free 2 points. He passed it too early. The defender, it was easy for him to block or contest RJ. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Do you remember when we cut the lead to 9 in the fourth quarter? We got it to 9. The second time we got it to 9,
Mm-hmm.
RJ set a screen. Someone set a screen for IQ, and Wemby was he was doing drop coverage pretty deep. IQ could have shot a three. Instead, he just passed it. And then RJ threw up that dash up three. Do you remember that?
Yep.
RJ threw a grenade. Bro, if I'm Darko, if IQ's not going to take the threes we need him to take, what's the point of him? Because here's the issue. He needs to be taking like 10 threes a game. I don't
Yep.
know if he's good enough or has the confidence to take 10 threes a game. Because his form doesn't allow him to shoot contested shots comfortably, right? So
Right.
he has to start shooting them deep. If you're not going to get up 10 threes a game, I don't see the point of this guy playing.
I agree.
Because the 7 threes, 6 threes, bro, what are we doing?
Hmm.
Because Darko keeps saying, I want him to shoot more. I want him to shoot more. My thing with Darko is all these people are messing up, but no, there's no consequences. Everyone gets their 30 minutes.
That's that's exactly it. Look, man, I understand why you wouldn't want to bench somebody, right? I get it. You want to preserve the trade value, you don't want to hurt the player's feeling, you don't want to burn the bridges, etc., right? But last year, Alex Caruso came off the bench. Isaiah Hartenstein in certain matchups came off the bench. Isaiah Hartenstein was making more money than Jakob Poeltl. If Isaiah Hartenstein can come off the bench, why can't Emmanuel Quickley? Sorry, why can't Jakob Poeltl? Isaiah
Exactly.
Hartenstein's a better player. If Alex Caruso can come off the bench, then why can't Emmanuel Quickley? I'm sorry, Alex Caruso is a much better player. If we
Yes.
replaced Emmanuel Quickley with Alex Caruso right now, we are 4-0. I'm
Yep.
not kidding. That's the gap. That's the gap between these two players and how they're playing. So the truth is, OG Anunoby came off the bench despite being a starter when we got Kawhi. You don't always need to get a Kawhi to put someone on the bench. Sometimes you need to look at it, say, you're a professional. The lineup isn't working. Here is the data. Or maybe, and this could be a 4D chess move by Darko Rajaković, maybe the team that's been trying to trade RJ Barrett and possibly shopping Emmanuel Quickley for the last, let's say, half a year, already knew this wasn't going to work and decided we need to show them that this can't work so that we can change, so that they can, that I actually. Internet.
Yeah, you went out there for a bit. And now you're on again.
Fuck. Hang on. If I get stalled, turn off my camera for a sec. Maybe
Is it me? Can you hear me clearly? Is anything wrong on my end?
wrong on your internet. Definitely not good.
Yeah, the game's not over yet. The Jays game's not over yet. This is crazy. Bro, there's going to be an army of people late for work tomorrow.
Oh my god, yeah. Okay. Y'all, I'm gonna restart my modem. I'm gonna be right back. Hello. Jesus. Okay, Coach Mo, if you're still alive on the internet, we had to restart our modem. Roger's internet sucks. If nothing else, this channel is an advocacy for good point guard play, don't gamble, and Roger's internet sucks. Stolen ball with your second account because you're there is no way this is happening again. Am I lagging again? I'm seeing one bar. How is this humanly possible? Okay, we should be good. I pray. I pray. But anyways, if this happens again, we're just gonna Rob, feed your damn hamster, bro. I don't have a hamster. I do have a snake, but I don't have a hamster. I should bring my snake on a live once. That would be great. Okay. Coach Mo, what's up?
He meant the hamster that's powering your internet.
Oh,
That's
okay,
what he
got
meant.
you.
So tell that guy to pick it up.
Okay, you were destroying a menu quickly.
Well, also,
Proceed.
okay, just randomly another play that came to my head. Do you remember when Scottie got the offensive foul under the paint when he sealed Cooper Flag?
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't have been an issue had IQ, who had the ball, just thrown the ball earlier instead of holding it. This habit of holding the ball a half a second to make a pass that everyone knows should be made. I don't know, but it's his thing. Also,
So I have a question for you.
yeah,
What's faster? The hamster wheel powering my internet or the hamster wheel powering Emmanuel Quickly's brain?
I don't want to get into that. What I do want to get into is Jakob was having the quarter from hell in that third. It was so bad, his third quarter. And if we wanted to win that game, Darko pulls him pretty early, right? And gets CMB, who had a great first half. But I feel like Darko is playing this political game, or maybe he's doing what you're doing. What you said was he's showing the front office the guys you paid aren't as good as you think they are. And I gave him a shot. Can I do my thing now?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's doing. But I'm just saying, if he tightens the rotation or he goes off game by game basis, okay, Yak looks cooked right now. Yak's back is a little tighter than normal. I can't play him much. CMB, get in there. CMB don't got much. Mobo, get in there. Mamu's playing well. Mamu, you getting 30 minutes tonight. Oh, IQ, you on that bullshit? Jacoby, get in there.
I like that this live is very late because I know that everyone watching, other than Stolen Ball, is probably like a super, super diehard. So what I'll say is this has to come from the top. You have to empower your coach. This is not high school basketball. It's not collegiate basketball. Collegiate basketball, I think coaches have all the power, right? If Coach Krzyzewski wants to bench a dude, even though he's a 5-star freshman and a tough recruit, and you're worried that he's going to enter the transfer portal, he has carte blanche. In the pros, the coaches are more of a figurehead and an extension of the management. When management says you have to play this guy, you have to play this guy. And this is the truth, not just for basketball, but all pro sports. If management says you have to, you not doing it is you getting fired. I think, and this is, 4 games, maybe 2 reactionary. I think I know who the problem is. He has the same name as me. Bobby Webster.
Bro, I'm watching the game and I'm just thinking to myself, oh my God. Facing the Spurs, it's like, yep, they know how to tank. they know how to tank. But
Right.
like our reward from the season of hell, which was Fred's last season, was Grady Dick. That was our reward. Do you know what the Spurs' reward for having a shitty season was?
Wemby.
Wemby.
Yep. Why do you think I want to cover the Spurs, dude? Like this year, I wanted to cover the Spurs because I was sick and tired of watching an organization do everything that I wanted my organization to do and never did. So right now, we're seeing the fruits of that labor. And oh, by the way, they didn't even have their backup center tonight, Luke Cornett. They didn't have De'Aaron Fox. If they have those guys, we might lose by 50. There is a big gap. This team is undefeated right now for a reason. And I think Wemby is on the MVP warpath, dude. I think he's going to win it this year.
Yep.
I know Luke is playing great and Shea's playing great or whatever. Wemby is about to do is probably put up like a 25, 13, and like 5 block season. So I don't know. He might do more than that. He might do more than that. But I guarantee you, if they win 55 games, he's in MVP talks.
Another issue I have with this team is, besides like some of the rotation stuff and the players, it is what it is. People are signed for what they're signed for. Okay. And Darko, his hands are tied for, the rotation, so to speak. Can we chill with this defense? Can we relax?
No,
I'm
I
watching
don't think we're
Harrison
gonna do
Barnes.
that.
I'm watching 40-year-old Harrison Barnes, okay? Play solid defense because he's just sound. He doesn't leave his feet. He just knows the scouting report, and he just plays solid. Our guys are going balls to the wall.
But why is Harrison Barnes able to play that way? Because he has Steph Castle and not Emmanuel Quickley there. He has Carter Bryant. He has, he has Victor Wembanyama and Bismack Biyombo. Like they execute their scheme perfectly. There's no oil and water with them, right? Now, I think in order to compensate, not compensate, but in order to accommodate OG and Anunoby, we ended up taking on 2 players that we didn't really know what to do with. And we thought to ourselves, okay, well, Emmanuel Quickley kind of works with Scottie Barnes, and RJ Barrett's a hometown guy. But the truth is that since these guys have come here, we have not won. And a lot of people are very quick to point to Scottie's regression when playing with Emmanuel Quickley. And I think that it's obvious that they don't have good chemistry. They've never had good chemistry, not for a second.
Mhm.
And for everyone who says every single time Scottie's been asked to be point guard, they've suffered, I don't think that's true. I think Scottie's had plenty of positive stretches as a point guard. Plenty of positive stretches as a point guard. But most importantly, I think his positive stretches are as a guard. You'll often see those successful games are when he gets cross matches on 2s and 3s, right? Like even if you consider Cooper Flag like a 3 right now, it's not against the bigs that he's having the most success. It's against the guards when he gets an early steal. So that play that I identified where he got a steal on Dylan Harper, that's exactly what he would have all day if he started at 2. No one would be able to guard him. It would be an automatic mismatch every single time. And on the perimeter, that defender would be smaller than him, so he wouldn't be able to close out. I don't know another team that plays their star player out of position to accommodate their not star player. It's stupid. Scottie Barnes is not a power forward. We're playing him out of position because he's strong and he can do it. But at some point, you do have to ask yourself, at what point does a player get frustrated playing out of position? He doesn't have to play this position, right? Like, again, it's one thing when you ask Jalen Williams, J-Dub, to play center because Isaiah Hartenstein's out and Chet Holmgren's out. He buys into it because they're a championship team and they play winning basketball and they don't play bullshit basketball. But if you're going to ask Scottie to get beat up every single night and rotate and cover for 3 fucking defenders who are flailing all over the place and play balls to the wall and also score 30 points and also grab all the rebounds, at some point, he's going to have to get wins. Like, we have to win. And I don't think the losses so far, other than tonight, I will say 100%, I think this loss is on Scottie and Jakob Poeltl and Emmanuel Quickley. I think those 3 own this loss. And Grady Dick. It's really those 4. But other than that, I don't think the 2 previous losses were on him at all. I think he did everything possible last night. I think he did everything possible the previous night, and it just has not worked. So, yeah.
I don't
I
think
don't
you
know.
can play Grady. I don't think you can play Grady. I just don't think you can. I don't even know why he gambles. Some of the shit he does, I don't understand. Like one of the things when I would coach and a player would like gamble, and I'm like, how many steals have you gotten? How many times has this worked for you? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. From the Arc said, Penn, kick this coach Mo, dude. He has no ball knowledge. Well, from the Arc, why don't you call in? Why don't you
Yeah,
call in and have a conversation with both of us and share with us your great basketball knowledge? Bro, stop talking. You don't understand because you don't know ball. Spoken like a true insightful. Okay, cool. Okay, so whatever your name is, call in and share with us what you know about basketball. This ain't, bro. Like my mama used to say, it ain't never too late for a cook session, bro. Let's go.
By the way, just a random fact: the most innings a baseball game has gone into the World Series is the 18th inning. We're at the bottom of the 17th,
I know
so we're about to tie a record if the Jays can get this last out.
for sure.
This is insane, bro. Imagine if you were really a diehard Jays fan, because I'm not, right? I'm not diehard. I want them to win, but imagine staying up this late for a loss. Like imagine you're the Raptors and we were in the Golden State Warriors and it was 2019 and it was like a fucking quadruple OT game and we lost.
Mhm.
Bro, oh my god.
We got FYF Sports Debates. FYF, what's up? Are you the real FYF?
Yo, what up, y'all?
Yo, what's good? Are you from the Arc?
You said from the Ark?
Are you from the like the dude in the comments? Are you
The guy
from
that
the
was
Arc?
the guy that was
Oh,
No. There was a dude
no,
who,
no, oh, no,
Oh, okay,
no.
thank God. Okay, because I was like, shit, FYF Sports Debates actually does know basketball. So shout outs to you for calling in. What's good, man?
No, I was just saying that's I was because I'm not. I don't. I mean, I follow the Raptors lightly, but man, this summer, man, when I saw Quickly get all that money, I'm saying to myself, what are they doing? Like, I get it because you got to retain your talent. But man, that was a lot of money to put on a guy that I don't think is worth it. Because once you pay him that money, you gotta play him. Like you are stuck in a hard place once you give him all that money. And
Absolutely.
and then with Grady Dick, he's so overrated.
I get the theory of Quickly. I do. But the theory of him and the reality of him are totally different players, right? Like to me, it's like when you look at whether you look at it with your eye test or you look at the analytics, he doesn't create a lot of advantages, right? And when he does create an advantage, it's usually one that he doesn't spot himself. So the shooting, the pull-up shooting is very important. And I do see a lot of teams that could use a player like him, but it's like there aren't a lot of bad contracts in the NBA right now. And I don't know. Like his paint finishing got a lot better. I'll give him that. Like he's kind of like he's putting a defender on his hip now. And to everyone who doesn't know, FYF Sports Debates, really dope channel. They do a lot of great work. This is not a troll account. I've spoken to FYF Sports Debates before, so shout outs to you guys for calling in, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I think Quickly is just a really good 6th or 7th man. I don't know if it's just me. I think he's like a lightning in a bottle type of player that can give you explosive, crazy matchups off the bench. But
You see a little bit of Jason Terry in him.
Jason Terry.
I mean, I think Jason Terry is better, but I'm like, do you see a little?
Yeah, but the value in having him means you have an already set team, and he can be like a key cog in a specific role. I don't think you can just throw him on a team like the Raptors that is still trying to grow into their own and say, take us to prosperity. And he just can't, man. Cause I just don't see it. I saw him in New York. I just didn't see what made him so good. Like as far as the money that he got, I didn't see it.
I mean, yeah, I get it. It's just like the theory of him coming from New York, like he's a pretty good athlete. He's got good, decent positional size, 6'3" with 6'9" wingspan. He was young enough that the pull-up jump shooting could be real. maybe you're betting on, the basketball IQ and the game management kind of coming around. I will say our coach has definitely made Devin Booker, Desmond Bane, all these guys a lot better point guards. But it's like, I don't want Desmond Bane or Devin Booker running my offense. You know what I mean? So quickly can get up a level, and he has gotten up a level. Like, I think he's a much better playmaker today than he was in New York. But with Brandon Ingram and Scottie Barnes on your team, you don't need Emmanuel Quickly running plays. Like, for real. Like, I need him quick hitters, coming off screens, being a good movement shooter, in transition. I need him to just pull. Like, basically, the more the ball sits in his hand, the worse the offense gets.
Yeah, like when you got Scottie Barnes and Brandon Ingram, that's enough. You just need to get a floor general out there. And I don't know if Quickly has it in him to quell his scoring and his want to go score down enough to just be a floor general for them. I don't think he has that in his game. They need Alonzo Ball. Like, if they had like Alonzo Ball, I think that would.
I was okay. So, you familiar with Sandro Mamukelashvili's game a little bit?
Hold on, say that again.
Are you familiar with Sandro Mamukelashvili's game a little bit? The big who played in San Antonio last year. So he's basically like a wing adjacent big who can play a little bit of four. He makes really quick decisions. Shot 37% from three last year. He's actually been our best big this year. He's better than Jakob Poeltl. So I was thinking, how do you feel about this lineup? Now, I'm not saying we can get him, but I'm just saying, like, in basketball theory, how would you feel about this lineup? Scottie Barnes at the 2, BI at the 3, Kyrie at the 1, Derek Lively at the 5, and a stretch big at the 4 who's a role player.
Are you talking about for Toronto?
Yeah.
You said Kyrie?
Mm-hmm.
So Kyrie at the 1, BI
and Scottie
Barnes.
At the 3, right?
And then who else?
You got a stretch big at the 4, so it's going to be Sandro Mamukelashvili. You're not familiar with him, but yeah. And then Derek Lively at the 5.
I just don't like the Kyrie with it because I think Brandon Ingram and Kyrie do the exact same thing, but just in different ways. I think that's where quickly gets in trouble with Brandon Ingram. I think they play too similar. Like, their mentality is to score first. And I think I would give BI the ball because of his size, and I think he could potentially be more efficient and Quickly. My focus would be on getting Quickly out of there and getting a floor general for Barnes and Brandon Ingram. I just don't think Kyrie will work. I mean, he could. Kyrie works with anybody, but it would you'll diminish Brandon Ingram.
Player. He's just a smart basketball player, and I mean, like, it is worth noting that, like, Scottie had his All-Star season playing with Dennis Schroeder. BI had his All-Star season playing with Lonzo, right? Yeah. So having a dude who just has the experience. Now, I couldn't stand Dennis Schroeder's attitude and, him thinking that he deserved next, he was the leader of the team and shit like that. But, as a basketball player, fundamentally, he is a point guard. He is like a floor general. Not the greatest floor general, certainly not. A dude I would want
Dennis or IQ.
Oh, for real? Right now, $14 million of Dennis Schroeder sounds like a fucking dream over $32 million of IQ. I'll tell you that.
You're not getting off that 32. You're not getting off it.
Yeah, and the worst part is you got 4 years left.
The crazy thing is, when you're in negotiations for a contract like that, okay, you want like 30 million? Okay, you're going to get 3 years. They gave this guy 32.5 million and 5 years. How do you not get fired for that?
I really don't know what the competing offer was, man. At the time, I heard that Orlando was interested and San Antonio was interested in him, but I don't think they were interested in, like, I think they just got played, to be honest. I think IQ played him because, like, there's no way in hell. Okay, so FYF, like, my question to you is Desmond Bane $40 million, Emmanuel Quickly $32 million. What's the difference? Like, what's the gap between these two players?
I think Desmond Bane, again, I kind of look at him similar.
Yeah.
I think Desmond Bane has, like, really good value in a weird way because he's a good defender. but the way Bane can score is like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, he don't need the ball. Like when you're point guard, like for me as a coach, I feel like if your point guard has a score first mentality, it's just gonna be tough for you to operate. Like, it's unless you build your team around that point guard. Like, you would have to build it around the point guard to make it work. But it looks like they have a score first mentality point guard with Scottie Barnes as your number one option. Brandon Ingram is maybe the number two. And it's just a weird, like I say, it just don't work. Like, for me, the basketball wise, it just don't work. Like, with Quickly style of play.
He's not a point guard.
Well, like, you watch WNBA?
Yeah.
You remember the Minnesota Lynx, right?
Mm-hmm.
They got stud buds, right? So I look at Scotty a little bit like I look at Fee.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. Like, if he could keep shooting 55% from three, that'd be great. It ain't gonna happen. But I mean, if he could shoot 37% from three, I'll be very happy. But apart from the 3-point shooting, I see them as very similar. Whereas, like, Fee doesn't exactly dominate the game, but she dominates it quietly in her own way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rogers.
I think we lost him again.
Yeah, Rogers Communication back at it.
He gotta turn his hotspot on his phone and use that, man. Damn.
I don't know. He keeps saying one bar, but to me that means like if he's on Wi-Fi, I don't know. But
yeah,
my issue with Quickly is he's not even a movement shooter. At least Desmond Bane comes off screens and he lets it flip.
Yeah.
Quickly can't shoot on the move, really.
Nope.
He can't
He's off the bounce. He needs the ball to score. He needs
and he's our best shooter. So if he has the ball, who's spacing? Barnes, Jakob, RJ? It doesn't make sense. Even if he was a great playmaker, he's our best spacer. And if he has the ball, he's not spacing because he has the ball.
Mm-hmm. I get the business side of it. Like, that's what I try to get first. You can't risk losing them for nothing after you give up OG. So you have to get them under contract long term and hope that you can finesse some team into taking them.
Yeah, you were the team that not finessed into taking him.
But that's the only logic I can see behind it. Like, outside of the money and the business, I don't see the logic in why he's on this Raptor team. I just don't see it.
The trade made sense, especially if OG wanted out. You lost that trade the second you gave him that contract. You lost the trade.
Well, that's the risk of taking some of these players on these rookie deals, man, and they're at the end of that deal. That's the risk.
Yeah, because now New York didn't want to pay him, so it's like he's your problem.
And when you let that player run rampant in a down year and pile up stats, he's just going to walk into that negotiation room and say, hey, look at these stats. He's going to demand all types of money because his stats call for it, even though his game don't really call for it.
And so what are you suggesting? Teams like they Dirty Mac, they kind of like limit his minutes or sit him out. Don't even let him get off like that.
You can't let him get off. Like, we got to give him the Gilbert Arenas treatment. Because if you let him get off, remember that these agents are going to play the numbers game on you. They're just going to play the numbers game. And that's what happened here. Like, you gotta sit quickly and say, look, man, if we leave you out here all this time on a bad team, we know you're going to pile up ridiculous numbers that call for a crazy payday. And that's exactly how he finessed them. Like Penn said, it's a finesse.
You're not getting rid of him without giving up a first. And here's the problem when you give him that money. Now RJ, who I think is better than him and has been playing better than him, he's going to come up for a contract. What leg do you stand on? What leg can you stand on negotiating with RJ? Now you're going to hardball RJ? He better than him. He got 32. Oh, I know I'm getting something.
Yeah.
Now you're done.
Yeah, you create a trickle down effect. Now everybody got to get paid.
And they're watching. Oh, I'm better than this guy. He's getting 32 million. They're watching him struggle. He got paid. A bunch of people are playing better than him. You just.
Yeah, the Raptors. I mean, look, they in a tough situation, man. I mean, I like BI. I like Barnes. I don't like Grady Dick. I don't like Quickly. I kind of like Pirtle, but I kind of don't.
He's a old school big, and they're being phased out, bro. They're being phased out.
Oh yeah, that style of play is done.
If you can't shoot threes, if you're not a lob threat, it's going to be hard for you in the future. You need a space somehow, vertically or at the 3-point line. You got to give space to the star players, and he's that old school, and it's not working out. He's hurt right now, and they gave him an extension. I mean, this front office has been bottom 5 for years, bro. Bottom 5. Bottom 5.
Well, I mean, maybe they can capitalize on Barnes one of these days. I mean, I don't know, man, but I think you might lose Barnes. I think you might lose him because it's already rough being in Canada as it is just playing out there.
Yeah. And the thing with BI, even the contract with BI, no teams wanted him. Right? They've been trying to trade that guy. And Raptors, apparently it was between us and the Hawks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think we had to give BI the 38 million, 40 million we gave him. I think we could have given him 35. I'm watching some of these teams give out contracts, and I'm like, wow, they kind of hardballed that guy, and they gave him that. I don't know why teams just give players money, especially when they're not like stars. Like MPJ, that MPJ contract, Michael Porter.
Oh my God, Jesus, that was war.
Why did you give him that? Who was going to give him that?
Horrible. One of the worst deals I've ever seen.
Right? I'm scared about what RJ is going to get. I think they're going to trade him because they can't.
Lord help me, my internet crashed out. I was listening to the conversation y'all were having. Tried to tune in from my phone, but don't have my headphones, so appreciate y'all keeping the conversation going. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate because when Emmanuel Quickley has $32 million, everybody else negotiates against that contract, right? So BI will be like, you gave him 32, you got to give me 39. And that's a fair argument. That's a very fair argument. Jakob Poeltl could be like, well, you gave him 32, you got to give me 22. I don't understand the Jakob Poeltl extension. I really don't. I don't like extending players who are not superstars past the 30. You want to give Kevin Durant an extension? I got no problem with it. But giving Jakob Poeltl an extension that lasts until he's 34 is crazy to me. He's going to be a minimum contract player at the end of that contract. And you just bought in for Scottie. So much I don't want to entertain the idea of Scottie wanting out. At some point, with the shit-ass media space that we got here, you got to understand FYF is not wrong. It is a tough sell sometimes to get American athletes to buy into playing in Canada as it is. Make it even Medved Ted saying even Scottie is overpaid. Scottie Barnes is not overpaid at all. $38, $39 million for Scottie Barnes. Any team in the league would happily give him that. Waive him tomorrow and see if he doesn't get a max contract from somebody. Of course he would get it. If Emmanuel Quickley is worth $32 million, Scottie Barnes is worth $60 million.
Yeah, I think Barnes can be a top 10 player in the league if he's in an optimal situation, if they put the pieces around him.
Yeah, because basketball. But we got people in the Toronto Raptors space who are debating whether he's better than Colin Murray-Boyles right now.
See, I think a lot of people think that he can only be top 10 if he's running around averaging 28 to 30 points per game. I don't think he'll ever be that. But I think he might be one of the most versatile players in the league. I think he's so underrated, but Toronto, man, they got to capitalize on it, man. I don't think you can name 3 players in the league like Barnes. I don't know. I don't think he's unique, but
he is. And like, to me, if I was building a perfect roster around Scottie Barnes, again, I would utilize stretch bigs. That's the first thing, right? Stretch bigs. Number 2, athletes, like rim, like vertical athletes. I'm talking like Jonathan Kuminga, but like with brain. You know, like Jonathan Kuminga with a brain would be like the perfect player. A Adu Theoro actualized, you know, like vertical pops. And then the third thing is I want movement shooters and a secondary creator. You already got a secondary creator in BI. Got movement shooter in Jacoby Walter, right? Grady Dick in theory. And if Grady Dick is your only defensive liability, I'm not even that mad at it. But you got Grady with RJ, with IQ, and Jakob Poeltl can't jump a foot off the ground. Can't jump over a phone booth right now, like a phone book right now. So, like, I look at Scottie right now, and I'm like, okay, let's just say the Raptors did trade Scottie Barnes. And I'm not saying to trade Scottie Barnes, but I'm just saying, like, you know, hypothetically, let's play this out. If you traded him for like, if you traded him to the Warriors right now, right, for a boatload of picks and Jonathan Kuminga, I guarantee you he's the second best player.
They're winning a ring.
Steph Curry. They're winning a ring because him and like just movement shooters and Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. Oh my God, Scottie would average like 22, 11, and 8 on that team. Like he would be crazy, and he would be crazy defensively next to Draymond, right? So it's just like the Raptors have a really small window of opportunity before he hits his prime in a couple of years to absolutely put the right pieces around him. And I do think, you know, as much as there is like overlap and redundancy with CMB, I do think CMB is the type of player that can play with Scottie, especially if he can shoot like he did tonight, 3 for 5 from 3. I think Jacoby is the type of player who can play with Scottie. I think BI is definitely the type of player who can play with Scottie. Everybody else in your roster is like in flux, right? And you don't necessarily have like the boatload of draft picks where you can go out and, you know, trade some of your contracts right now. One trade that I would make immediately, and I know this is a big injury risk, Emmanuel Quickly for Jalen Suggs. I would do that yesterday.
What are you adding to that?
I'm not adding anything to it. Jalen Suggs has been really injury prone. They need shooting. They need, you know, a player who can do some of the stuff that IQ can do. They're off to a really rough start. They got a really expensive roster. And the only good thing I can say about Emmanuel Quickly's contract is it's flat.
Do you think?
Yeah, but doesn't Orlando need a true point guard?
Yeah, but I mean, is he any less of a true point guard than Jalen Suggs?
I mean, he's not a true point guard.
Okay, but you said that you proposed that like Orlando would think about it.
I mean, they should think about it. Jalen Suggs has been very injury prone, and he's not on his best day. He's not the pull-up jump shooter that Emmanuel Quickly is. And they got the defense where they don't have holes all around them. They devoted another lottery pick, like a top 6 pick, on Anthony Black. He can't really shoot. He's not a great shooter either. So I'm just looking at like Emmanuel Quickly trades around the league, and I'm like, what gets us what we need, right?
Orlando's gonna ask for a number 1 pick with that.
Okay, well then I would want to attach Jakob Poeltl, and I would want like Goga Batadze back, and then you could have a first.
Because they might pawn off Jonathan Isaac to you, because it says you're gonna give us we're gonna give you our injury risk.
We already taken an injury risk in Jalen Suggs.
Yeah, you're going to have to take 2 of them. I think, remember, the contract, they're basically buying a bad contract. They're going to make you pay.
Yeah, but I think when you get to Quickly's level, like it's not like, it depends on how analytically driven like the team is, right? Like there are certainly general managers out there that will look at Emmanuel Quickly and they'll say 38% pull-up 3-point shooter last year, not a bad defender, but also not a great defender, especially not the way we're using him right now. Like we've seen Emmanuel quickly like be a decent defender in New York. Like let's not even lie about it. He was a decent defender in New York. He's participated in like a playoff level top 10 defense, and he's been like, I don't want to say a lockdown defender because that would be generous, but he's been good, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And he is a better player than he was in New York. I hate to say it, like the role has changed, but he's a better player. Like I can see it. His handle is better, his passing is better, his, the work that they've done on him, in terms of strength, adding his strength. He's just in a really, really bad situation right now. Where it's like he's the one creating the situation, but someone put him in this position. Someone told him, go lead this offense. Someone told him, you got the green light, do whatever you want, fuck around, find out. Like BI is really quiet. He's not like a take charge type of leader. He's more like float in silence, do my own thing, kind of a KD type, right? Whereas like if you're gonna fuck around, BI's not gonna yell at you about it. That's the read I got on him from the people I know close to him. And Scottie is just like, he's a nice dude, right? He's gonna sulk, obviously, like he just kind of quit on this game, but he's not necessarily the most confrontational guy either. So it's like you don't really have that dude like a Udonis Haslem who's gonna like, or Charles Oakley who's gonna like take BI, take BI, Scottie, and IQ to the corner and be like, yo, this ain't working. This is how we fix it. That you just have too many nice guys on the team. You don't have a Rasheed Wallace here,
Yeah, that's true.
So
You know the team that's like ready made for Scottie Barnes?
Which team?
I think it's the Portland Trailblazers.
In place of who?
Shaden Sharp or somebody like that.
But you don't think there's a lot of redundancy between him and Denny Avdia?
That's what I think they need. I think with a player like Scottie Barnes, I think you need more players like him around him. I think him and Denny would be perfect. And you put him with all of that defense. I think he's ready made for that team.
Yeah. Well, ideally, we figure out a way to get the right players here as opposed to having to send him somewhere. Obviously, like, it's kind of unfortunate for him too, because he's a better player than Tyler Hero. I think he's a better player than Bam Adebayo, right? But this team could probably use a Bam Adebayo more than they could use a Scottie Barnes as currently constructed. You kind of see my point? Like they could use a Bam Adebayo because Bam is like a little bit bigger. He can play center. Armand saying the Dodgers won. Damn, bro. Well, could have seen that one coming. Who did it? Who was the one who hit the home run or got the run or whatever? Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, bro. I mean, I feel bad for everybody on the East Coast who stayed up till 3 a.m. to watch this game only to lose. But fuck, that sucks. Damn.
Yeah. All this talk about make trades and everything, I have no faith in this front office. None.
You know what? It is Bobby Webster, man. Like I got to tell you, like when I saw him do that, like podcast with Hello and Welcome, like my first thought was like, oh God, right? Like, oh God, right? And then I hear Samson Vitry lapping like every year the front office does what I want them to do or whatever. And I was like thinking back to when the front office used to do what I wanted them to do. And that's when Masai was running things a little bit more. And it's like this front office has made a lot of really, really, really bad decisions since 2020. It's like we're talking Aaron Baines, that contract. We're talking about, the Kem Birch extension. We're talking Thaddeus Young for a first round pick that could have been Christian Brown, by the way. And you realize how good Christian Brown would be with Scottie Barnes? Do you realize how good Walker Kessler would be with Scottie Barnes? Like, this is what you need. These are the players you actually need next to this guy, and you completely neglected that to get Thaddeus Young. And then we signed Thaddeus Young to, I think it was a 2-year, $16 million deal. The Gary extension was crazy. The Chris Boucher extension was insane. 3 years, $33 million for Chris Boucher. What are we doing here? And then we tried to trade him like the next year. And then for 2 years, we dangled him and couldn't get nothing back for him. Then we traded for Bruce Brown, in the Pascal deal. thinking that we're going to hoodwink some team for a first round pick because Bruce Brown's an NBA champion and every team said, y'all bought that bullshit. Cool. Hold on to that guy. And then I had to watch that dude, parade around in his ridiculous, cowboy boots and his cowboy hat for a year and a half as we tried to trade his ass. And then Gary Trent, the 3-year $48 million or $54 million deal we gave him. Like, what? We made the same mistake with Gary that we made with Emmanuel Quickley.
Yep.
We traded for a guy at the deadline. We allowed him to cook in the worst part of the season. April basketball does not count, right? Malachi Flynn was good in April.
He dropped 50. Malachi dropped 50.
Luke Jackson was good in that stretch of the season. I'm sure Killian Hayes had a couple good weeks in that stretch of the season. James Wiseman probably, had some good stretches in that. No one's really trying. Like, good teams are preparing for the playoffs. Bad teams are like just fucking around. So we back to back, we just trade for these guys at the deadline. We allow them to do whatever, pad their stats. It's the same mistake we made with Kem Birch. It's the same mistake we made with Gary. It's the same mistake you make with Emmanuel Quickley, where he puts up these amazing numbers and you're like, oh, look what he looks like as a starter. But then, of course, the trickle-down effect of Emmanuel Quickley has been so disastrous. There's two deciding factors on this team that have made it unconscionably bad. And these are just like, like that decision that you make that just gets worse and worse and worse. Trading for Jakob Poeltl was the first straw. It was so like trading for Thaddeus Young is so bad, first of all, because you needed a starting center and there was one available in the draft, and you missed out on two, by the way, because Jakob Poeltl. So like the first thing was the year that you traded for Jakob Poeltl. Obviously, it was the Wemby draft, right?
Yep.
Now at the top of the Wemby draft was not just Wemby; it was also Derek Lively. So if you don't trade for Jakob Poeltl, you get one of those guys is going to be on your team. So if you miss out on Wemby, at the worst, you can get Derek Lively at 7 or 8. And I like Derek Lively.
Fifth best odds when we traded for Jakob Poeltl. We were the fifth best odds in the lottery.
Right. We were worse than the San Antonio Spurs.
Yep.
So the first thing is you trade for Thaddeus Young, so you miss out on Walker Kessler, which completely negates. Shout outs to FYF Sports Debates. My bad. I guess you had to leave, but thanks for coming through. So you trade for Thaddeus Young, which costs you the opportunity to draft Walker Kessler. Christian Koloko is the guy you do draft, so clearly you wanted a center to put into that starting lineup. Christian Koloko started in his rookie season, by the way, just in case anyone remembers that shit. So Kem Birch becomes this albatross contract. You're trying to move off of it. Christian Koloko ends up starting. He gets blood clots. Kem Birch has to be salary dumped at some point. Thaddeus Young ends up shitting all over Toronto in a on a podcast 2-3 years later about how he didn't want to be here and how it was torture for him. Fuck that noise. And then on top of everything, you double down with the same damn team, San Antonio Spurs, that you just played tonight. I mean, if nothing else, this team that you were facing should have been like the ultimate, like look at what we're doing. Yep. And now you're pining for Derek White. Derek White was on the team that you made 2 different deals with.
Yep.
And dumped multiple firsts. You could have traded for Derek White. He was available. It's not like San Antonio said, no, we'll only send Derek White to Boston. No. Like, you could have traded multiple firsts for him and just traded for Derek White. And then you would have put Derek White in place of Gary Trent. Gary, it's such a clusterfuck of bad decision after bad decision after bad decision.
It's so bad. We were ahead. We were tanking better than the Spurs. What we did was we gave them a first-round pick and 2 seconds to make their tank for the next few years stronger, and we automatically made sure they're going to have a higher pick that year as well.
And you know what else we did?
God.
We cost ourselves Fred VanVleet, because Fred VanVleet was on the verge of not being able to command $20 million. But because Jakob Poeltl comes here, Fred VanVleet leaves. And because you traded for Jakob Poeltl, he has all the leverage when he negotiates his contract. So he's like, are y'all willing to lose me for nothing? Because I will literally walk. And the San Antonio Spurs are an option. I can literally walk back to that team and you'll be out a first-round pick and a starting center. So Jakob Poeltl plays hardball. You traded me the first time to San Antonio. You're going to pay me this time. He's wearing that number 19 for a reason. It's a middle finger to the Raptors for trading him from a championship team. He was a big part of We the North.
What was his number? His first stint in Toronto?
9, I believe.
So hold on. He wears 19 because he got traded in 19.
Mhm.
He said that.
Nope. But I heard it.
Okay. Well, either way, I have no faith in this front office. None.
Sorry, he wore 42 as a rookie. My apologies.
Yeah, I just don't have any faith in this front office. You think they learn from their mistakes? Bro, I remember when you and I got on that live when we heard the news about the contract and we couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, things are going to change. Okay, they got rid of Pascal. Fred's gone. Nurse is gone. Things are going to change. Things are going to change. We're heading into a new direction. Good. What? How much is he getting paid? Oh, yeah, we're done. We're done. Same old, same old. They haven't matured. When you go from Jakob Poeltl trade to then the next year handing that contract, yeah, you've learned nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. And it's just a comedy of errors, and then exacerbated by the fact that you play Emmanuel quickly. And now you got all these downstream effects, which is you got to now overpay everybody. And the worst part about this is you don't have money to pay RJ Barrett. And I would rather pay RJ Barrett than Emmanuel quickly right now. RJ Barrett, in my opinion, is a better passer. He's a better transition player.
Yep.
And right now, he's just buying in better. And he's a bigger playmaker. And I just value 6'6", 6'7" playmakers more than I value 6'2", 6'3" ones. So it's like the theory of IQ is great. Like, I get it. It's a calculated gamble. You paid too much for it. And man, how many picks would you attach to go trade RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly for OG Anunoby right now? Like, Jesus Christ, man.
I know.
So it's the unfortunate thing, but and the Knicks are probably going to come out of the East this year from what it looks like. So you not only boost, I mean, wouldn't it be just the craziest thing in the world if the Knicks and the Spurs is the finals? Wouldn't that just be such a kick in the gonads to the Raptors?
Don't forget, Pascal was in the finals.
And Pascal was in the finals too. Now, I was all for moving Pascal, but I wanted to move him 2 years before. 2 years before. Okay.
I know, it's crazy. Like, you couldn't get Nemhard. You couldn't get Neesmith. You couldn't get Jarris Walker. Like, you got nobody. You got to pick.
Right.
One.
Yeah. You got one pick. And you got Brandon Ingram, in fairness.
Bottom five. You cannot
in
convince
fairness,
me.
You literally traded.
Convince me we haven't been a bottom five front office for 5 years straight. You can't convince me otherwise. It's been bad here, bro. Bad.
Yeah. Well, I think it's hard to say it's salvageable, but I think Colin Murray-Boyce looked great tonight. That's positive. It's a big positive. I do believe in Jacoby Walter. That's a positive. I like Jamal Shed a lot. That's a positive. I think Ochai Agbaji is a reasonable late rotation player. I think Jameson Battle is a really good 11th, 12th guy to be able to pull out, and I think he's improved. It's not all bad. And if anything else, I would say this front office pretty much got its act together like last year at some point. Like, they've made better decisions. But undoing the bad decisions of the previous year and the previous year and the previous year and the previous year and the previous year, like, you have to undo 5 years of bad decisions in order to accommodate Fred, Pascal, Nick Nurse, etc., and then shift timelines and pray to God that you're able to do this before Scottie hits his prime.
I don't think they will be able to.
I mean, okay, let's put it this way. You don't know what happened. Pascal Siakam's on the market, right? And let's just say we had traded him when I wanted to trade him, which was 2022. Okay.
After Scottie's rookie year.
Yeah. That summer. That summer when it kind of became apparent that they were going to get on each other's, they were going to step on each other's toes or whatever. So would you have accepted at that moment? Would you have considered it a good deal to get Brandon Ingram and Jacoby Walter? It's not the worst deal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's basically what we got. We got Jacoby Walter and Brandon Ingram. That's exactly what we got because we traded the first round pick that was and Ochai Agbaji, by the way. So Ochai Agbaji in 2022 was the 14th overall pick. Jacoby Walter was supposed to go top 12. Don't ask me how I know, but I know that he had a, top 12 sort of promise in the 2023 draft or 2024 draft. And Brandon Ingram, in my opinion, is a very talented player. So, and way too smoky saying CMB is an indirect benefit. An indirect benefit of what?
CMB's
I mean,
a pick.
I
don't know what he means.
An indirect benefit of trading Siakam? I mean, in fairness, yeah, it is an indirect benefit of trading Siakam because you would have been a lot better had you not traded Siakam. So I guess I see your point. You would have been a playoff team had you kept Siakam as opposed to, whatever we got. So I mean, like Brandon Ingram and Scottie Barnes are your two highest paid players. I'm very happy to have both of them. Long term, very happy. Like the next 3 years, if you tell me BI and Scottie are on this team, I'm cool with it. It's everyone around them that sucks. Now, this offseason, I'm okay with I'm good with the Colin Murray Boyles pick. I'm gonna be real. I'm very good with it. Like if I had to give it a grade right now, it feels like a solid B plus to an A minus. That's good. I don't like the second round pick. I like the Jameson Battle, Jamal Shed, Jacoby Walter draft. So the previous draft was good. This draft was mixed because I don't love the Elijah Martin, but I like Chucky Hepburn. So, it's like we're slowly shifting out the mistakes, right? But I think the Jakob Poeltl extension really just kind of threw me for a loop. But if Jakob Poeltl is healthy, I think he's okay. I think he's okay with this team. He just can't play 30 minutes a night. At which point you have to ask yourself, why is he getting paid $27 million? If he can't play 30 minutes a night, why is he getting paid Isaiah Hartenstein money?
I don't think him fully healthy is 30 minutes a night. My thing is, he's not healthy right now. Why are you putting him on the court for what? So you want to actually lose games? Like, is this a tank strategy? Putting the corpse of Jakob Poeltl on the court?
Hey man, we are 1-3.
Yeah. You want to be 1-4? Play him if he's not ready.
At what point? I mean, look, I always knew it was possible to have like a really, really rough, start to this season. I'm not going to look at anything as definitive about the season until we get to the 20 game mark. I think we've played, and I said this in the live earlier, that the Raptors will be okay after 10 games. I think we just played like the worst teams matchup wise for us, which are big teams, right? Emmanuel Quickley is so useless against big teams. And the last 2 games, Jakob Poeltl is just athletically compromised against much quicker and much more athletic bigs, right? So when we play the Chicagos of the world, when we play the Indianas of the world, I think even against Orlando, we could potentially like eke out a win. Charlotte, we can beat, like in the East, I'm looking like Miami. I'm good with Miami, right? We'll have some trouble with Khalil Ware as a stretch big and Bam Adebayo. And, when Tyler Hero comes back, unfortunately, we got to face him twice with Tyler Hero. Norman Powell's penetration is going to be a nightmare for whoever the hell is our guard. And I'm sure Davion Mitchell is going to make life very, very hell for Emmanuel Quickley. But I like us against Miami. I don't love us against New York. But I think we're a better team than Boston. I think on most nights we should be able to beat Milwaukee.
I don't know about any of that from what I'm watching, but hopefully it's a matchup issue. I mean, hopefully you're right, but
I mean, we just faced 2 of the tallest teams in the league, and we're about to face the tallest team in the league in the next game. By the way, do not expect to win against the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets blew the shit out of the Brooklyn Nets tonight, and I expect them to dominate us as well. But you know what? They don't have a point guard. So
neither
maybe,
do we.
And neither do we. Well, at least we got Scottie and BI, which is more than I can say for Kevin Durant and Asar Thompson and whatever the fuck is going on with Reed Shepherd. But I didn't watch the game tonight. Maybe Reed Shepherd is starting to cook or whatever. But realistically, what's the way out of this? I think the way out of this is to probably go further into this. If you double down right now on Scottie and BI and you make a trade for Lauri Markkanen, that opens up a ton of space because Lauri is just a way, way, way better version of what Mamu does.
Yeah. But I think even more, the simpler solution is less Jakob, a little less IQ, more Jacoby, more CMB, more Mamu, more uh, Ochai. Like that's the way. That's the way. You
Yeah.
can't have these IQ, RJ, Jakob's corpse, Grady on the court, 2 to 3 of them on the court. Like that just can't happen.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
And I think, with quickly kind of looking for his own shot, trying to get RJ going, sort of freezing out BI, freezing out Scotty, not being able to properly use, like you saw the one basket that Jakob hit. I believe it was Jamal Shed who found him, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was Jamal Shed who found him. So it's just like, it's not that difficult. I realize Jakob can't catch anything right now. He has no lift or elevation, but he is still a really, really smart player. Like, that's one thing I will say. Jakob Hurtel is a really smart player. His off-ball awareness is next level. He's very seldom in the wrong place, and he just can't move right now. That's a completely separate issue. But yeah,
I feel like them putting him out there, it's like they're not doing him any favors.
Mm-hmm.
You already have your contract. What are you here to prove? You're not ready yet, bro.
Yeah.
You're not a young player.
Yeah.
You're not helping us. Just sit.
Well, you know what? Adversity teaches you who players are. And I think the Raptors are going to go through some real adversity right now, losing 3 games in a row after all the good vibes that were the preseason, right? A lot of, talk about playoffs, Scotty talking about being MVP, and now he's just kind of jogging up and down the court. So I think this is the type of game that's like a gut check, right? You get dominated from front to back. Your best player was a rookie tonight, in fairness to everybody else who played. CMB thoroughly outplayed pretty much everybody on the Raptors tonight. And defensively, offensively, he was the one who was dialed in. So, I think this is one of those moments where leadership's going to have to emerge. I don't know who that leader is right now. There's a lot of alpha dogs on this team, guys who probably think they're the leader. And I think right now, Darko has to go to Scotty and say, take over this team or lose this team. It's that simple. Like, if I'm Scottie Barnes right now, and he ain't me, and I ain't him, but if I'm him right now, I'm calling a team meeting. I'm going to be the one calling a team meeting. I'm going to pull the Kyle Lowry, and I'm going to say, y'all, this is my team. I want to let y'all know I don't like the fucking way we're playing. My bad. I do not like the way I played tonight. I owe y'all an apology. And let's adjust this. I'm going to do a film session. I'm going to literally have a film session. I want to see who shows up that film session. I think that'll go a really long way to buying some respect from his teammates. I mean, this is the NBA. All these guys were great. BI was the man. RJ's been the man. Emmanuel quickly thinks he's the man, right? Everybody thinks they're the man on the pro level. So somebody's got to be the man in this situation, right? Otherwise, it's just going to be oil and water. And, teams need hierarchy, man. I hate to say it, but it's nobody's team. It's everyone's team bullshit. No. It can't be this way. And Scotty has to grab the reins because BI won't. I'll guarantee you that. I watched BI way too long. He's not going to do it. BI is not going to do it. And if Scotty and BI won't do it, I guarantee you RJ and IQ will. Because they don't need anybody to tell them to take the reins. They love it. They want to be in control of the offense. They'll just pass to each other the whole fucking game. And yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem for sure. Yeah.
All right, man. I'm gonna head out.
All right, man. Peace. Have a good one.
Jays lost in the 18th inning, so at least there are people who are feeling worse than you tonight. So there's some solace in that.
I spent 4 hours watching that. Well, that's not fair. I spent about an hour and a half watching that game after the Raptors game. So
yeah, there are going to be people who are going to get 3 to 4 hours of sleep for a loss.
Oh God, yeah. I don't know if you've ever watched cricket. I've never really watched cricket, but I hear those games go even longer than. Does anyone in the chat happen to watch cricket? I've heard those games can go even longer than these baseball games. I don't know, man. I don't know how people do
it. Normally in like the regular season, I think I think there may be a draw. I know in the NFL, American football, during the regular season, after a certain point, they'll just say it's a tie. But in playoffs, like you have to win a game. There has to be a winner and a loser in a playoff game.
Right.
All right, man. Later.
All right, peace. All right, shout outs to Coach Mo, shout outs to FYF Sports Debates, and shout outs to the guy who never called in, whatever the hell his name was, Ball something. We already forgot what your name was. You didn't call in. That's too bad. You know, we put the link in the description for you to call in. We put the link in the comments for you to call in. Banned your ass. You created a second account to come here, and you still couldn't call in. Beware, I'm coming. Bro, I'm not your girl. You don't need to tell me when you're coming. Cricket at one point could last several days, but they had to cut the games down. The only thing I know about cricket is from a wonderful little comedian, Sugar Sammy. Have y'all heard of Sugar Sammy? He's a really dope comedian. And he said, he's like, these games would go so long that there were kids in the stands, and he was joking, of course. He said, there's kids in the stands with signs saying, "Daddy, come home. I'm hungry." It's just like the motherfucker got a beard. Anyways, I hate to veer negative. Obviously, I have a lot of faith in this team, and clearly it has been obvious that this team's offense has been a lot smoother with Jamal Shed on the court, Mamu on the court, and that's a good thing because those players are on your team. I believe that the correct solution for this team will actually come in the next game when you don't have Jakob Poeltl. Now, you're going to get obliterated in the next game because Alperen Şengün and Steven Adams and Clint Capella are exactly why you have Jakob Poeltl on this roster. You have Jakob Poeltl or a healthy Jakob Poeltl to deal with a Clint Capella and a Steven Adams. In the absence of a Jakob Poeltl, you don't have a center. I think Bobby Webster deserves a lot of blame for this roster construction because ultimately it is he who signed Jakob Poeltl to the extension, the first one, and the second one. It is he who gave Emmanuel Quickley the money he wanted instead of saying, you know what, doing what the Knicks said, which is like, we like you at 17 million, but at 32, we think you're too much. Emmanuel Quickley wanted 25. I want to be clear about something. I've found this out when IQ got traded here, that he was looking for a contract extension at 25 million. They gave him the reins to run the offense how he saw fit. And through a losing season, he, like Gary before him, like Ken Birch before him, stat padded his way to a $7 million increase on the annual value. Do you know how much better you probably feel right now about Emmanuel Quickley if he's making $25 million? The gap between 25 and 32 is truly significant. Shaedon Sharpe just signed a $20 million extension. He is younger than Quickley, and he has more value than Quickley. As an asset, Emmanuel Quickley is, at this point, a negative asset. So you have to get him to play right because teams are not going to give you value for him. RJ Barrett, as good as he's played, is not worth $27 million to most teams out there. He may be worth $27 million to you because he's your favorite player, but most teams are looking at him the way I'm looking at him, which is that's a guy coming off my bench. And Jakob Poeltl is not worth his contract. So BI right now is a neutral contract. Scottie is a good contract. Grady is a neutral contract. Neutral means you're not getting firsts back for it. Okay? Oh my God. This is a bad idea. He just got waived for a reason. You do not want James Wiseman on this team. Trust me. Although it would be the most athletic big Scottie's played with in a while. But it's like, you know, I wasn't a fan of Khalil Ware, but also I'm not Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster. Maybe they should have made a trade for Khalil Ware. Would have solved a lot of issues. Maybe you don't trade Jakob Poeltl and you don't lose the pick and you just draft Donovan Clean. I don't know. Or maybe you don't trade for Thaddeus Young and you just draft Walker Kessler. Or maybe you don't cut over Chomsky Loose. I don't know. The point is, this team needs a big. They don't have a lot of depth behind Jakob Poeltl. If Jakob Poeltl misses any time, I said it in the preseason preview. Jakob Poeltl misses any time, you're in trouble. Raptors inside her. What a bizarro name. Do you miss Davion Mitchell after seeing how well he's playing in Miami? Not really. but I certainly do think we should have gotten more than a second round pick for him, given how well he's playing. Colosso saying, I liked Kalal coming into the draft. You know, people like Tyler Smith, people like Kalal, where a lot of people just like bigs who can shoot. I have heard a lot of stuff about Kalal where being hard to motivate, how the Miami Heat have had consistent issues with getting him to buy in, keeping him focused, etc. It's the DeAndre Ayton issue. Mega talented, still have a lot of concerns. Still don't think he's going to be an all-star. And if he does become an all-star, it's going to be like very, very, very like the minute you pay him, where's his mind at? I just don't want to have those types of questions about, you know, players I bring into the program. So personally, I prefer Jacoby, but I understand that Kalel has played really well. I do. And you know what? If the Raptors are not very good this year, there's a lot of talent at the top of the draft next year, and you do have your own pick. That being said, I do think BI and Scottie are good enough to get you through a really competitive series, right? Just need the right pieces around them. And, you know, again, as I said, you're not going to have success early in the season because you're facing these super large teams. Probably should have gotten that Mavericks win. Probably shouldn't have gotten the Atlanta Hawks win, if I'm being honest. But the Atlanta Hawks and the Miami Heat have, the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic have looked really bad to start this season. So I'm looking at this like holistically. I'm not too worried right now. But overall, someone needs to rein Emmanuel Quickley in. And I do think that if I could say something positive about Emmanuel Quickley tonight, it was that while he did dominate the possessions a little bit too much for my liking, he only took 7 shots. The problem is Scottie Barnes also took 7 shots. RJ Barrett took more shots than Scottie Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley, and he played the same number of minutes as them. It's not a problem because RJ Barrett took a lot of really good shots too. But in terms of a pecking order thing, there should never be a game where Brandon Ingram takes 11 shots in 32 minutes. That shouldn't happen. There should never be a game where Scottie Barnes takes 7 shots in 30 minutes. They don't have a single player that can guard either one of these guys one-on-one. And you couldn't find that advantage anywhere. And that's sad. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a great one. And thank you very much for tuning in with us until 3:20 in the morning. Apologies if this live veered a little bit negative into the Emmanuel Quickley criticism. I certainly am wishing really, really good things for Emmanuel Quickley, and I'm hoping that he picks it up. I remain steadfast in my belief and very committed to my belief that he is not a point guard, and that the minute he realizes it, gets off the ball a little bit more quickly and plays a little bit more like a wing, he will be a lot better off. I'll talk to y'all later. Please make sure to like this video on your way out. And if you would like to support this channel a little bit more than you currently are, then please consider becoming a member because you will get access to our Sunday live shows, and those are pretty dope. Peace.